I'm Danielle Reynolds with Wise Wizard Games. I'm here to talk about our new Wacky Wizard game title, Star Realms Academy, a My First Deck Building game designed by Rob Doherty and Darwin Castle. Now this game is perfect for kids and family because it includes no reading, very limited math, and it's super duper fun and freaking adorable. But I'm here to teach you the game. But first we're gonna start with setup. So first we're going to be starting with the setup as far as each player. Each player is going to be getting a player board. They're also going to be putting 15 health tokens onto the designated spots. So put them on there. Fun thing, there's art on both sides, so you can choose which one you want to go with. But once you've done that, make sure to collect a reference card. The reference card is double-sided. You're going to have one side that shows the 4 symbols in the game that I will go into when we start talking about how to play, as well as what you're doing on your turn. So put that off to the side. You're also going to collect your starting deck. Your starting deck is going to consist of 6 cards, and those 6 cards are going to include 5 scouts, which look like this card right here, as well as the 1 Viper card. So make sure that each player grabs their deck, they shuffle it up, and then they are going to have 3 cards as their starting hand, and the rest is going to go back into the deck space. After that, decide who's going to be first and second. Now, we do recommend that the older player be the first player. And so the second player, what they are going to do is they're going to take one of these coins that are going to be set off into a pile and put it into their bank on their player board. You're going to notice that the bank is going to have up to 8 spots. So that's how many coins you can be able to hold in the game. And I'll get into that a little bit more when we talk about how to play. You will also set up the board, and this is going to be your trade deck. The trade deck will have been shuffled, and then you're going to fill in each space with a card. And then you will also make sure to put your coins as well as your combat tokens off to the side of your board. And then that is going to be how you will be setting up for the game. So let's jump into how to play the game, as well as how the cards and everything works. All right, so before we start playing the game, let's talk about what a deck builder is and what you should be looking at when you are purchasing these cards. So building a deck just means using your resources, which are coins in this game, to get better cards to put into your deck. So when you're doing that, anything that you are purchasing here from the shop cards, you're going to put immediately into your discard. And that's only going to come back to your hand once your draw pile is emptied, and then you will replace your discard, shuffle it up, and make that your new draw pile. Now, what you want to pay attention to when you're purchasing cards, there are 3 different factions in this game. They are represented by the colors and symbols on these cards here. And you're going to want to, for a strategy tip, try to get and focus on 1 or 2 of these typically. But you're also going to look at the cost of the cards. You'll notice in the corners, you'll find the cost of what you need to spend in order to purchase these cards and then, discard them. Once you purchase those cards and they actually come out when you have drawn them into your hand and you're playing it, you are going to get these abilities. Now, these abilities are going to trigger immediately. The ability icons can either be drawing an additional card, attacking using combat, healing is the green one here, and also getting additional coins. Now, if you happen to have 2 cards out of the same type, so for instance, we have 2 of these blobs that have come out, you'll notice that there is actually 2 spots here. So you have that primary ability, but also you have an ally ability, and that's just because they belong to the same faction. So if these cards were played at the same time, you would not only get those first ability, but you get the second ones as well. And so that's where those comboing can really, really help you out when you're trying to play this game. All right, so playing the game. The first player is going to have all 3 of their cards in their hand, and then they're going to play through them. So I might play a scout, another scout, and a viper. Now, how these cards are going to work is you're always going to have the benefit that you're going to receive from the card down here at the bottom. With your starting cards, you'll notice that there is no cost on top. I have now played 2 scouts, which means I will be drawing 2 coins and placing them onto my player board. So that's going to be how much I can spend in order to purchase new cards to build my deck. Now, knowing this, I can look at what we have here on the trade cards, and I can decide if I want to buy a ship or a base. Base are the horizontal cards, where ships are these ones here. So I might decide that I want to get this Corvette. Now, the Corvette cost is here in the corner. It's going to be in the corner of each of these cards, how much it's going to cost. I have 2 coins to spend. I'll decide to buy this one. So what I'll do is I will take a coin and remove it. This is going to go directly into my discard. Now, immediately, I will refill the market row. And I can decide I still have 1 coin to spend. Nothing here, though, costs a single coin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bank that and save it for my next turn. So we can save up those coins. Now I will look at my Viper. I have 1 damage I can deal. And like I've mentioned before, you win this game by bringing your opponent down to 0 health. So I will take away this health and it's going to be removed, or the player could do it themselves. And so that is what a turn is going to look like. Once I have played these cards, I will discard them as well, put them over here. I'm going to draw 3 cards from my deck, and then this is going to be my starting hand for the next turn. Now, the next player is going to grab their cards, and this player is going to have all 3 scouts. So now they have 3 coins on top of the 1 coin that they started with. So they're going to place those there, and they'll decide what they want to purchase. Now, looking at the cards, they might decide, oh, I want this trade pod. So spending 2 coins right there. Take those off, put it there. This is going to go in their discard. And then next, replace. And maybe we'll decide, you know, that's also 2 coins worth. I'm going to purchase this as well. So throw it in the discard, grab that. The player will then end their turn by discarding these here, refilling, and then making this their new hand. And so let's talk about these different cards that the players are purchasing. You'll notice that some of them are only going to have the 1 ability. So this is going to be the primary ability for a card. Some of them are going to have a primary, but also here's a secondary spot. Now, this is going to be each different faction. So there's 3 factions in the game. If these 2 cards were to be drawn by, say, this player's hand, and so maybe in the future, they have this as their hand, what will happen is they would play all 3 cards. They would look at the symbols. The primary ability is always going to activate. And right now they're going to be getting 2 coins, but you're going to notice these ones here, these symbols are going to mean they're drawing an additional card. So they might potentially draw these 2 cards out. Great. Now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 coins. So they would grab the 4 coins and 4. And then they have 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Now, you only unlock this ally ability if both of these factions are the same. If, say, this card had instead been this card, you would not get that second ability. So they would attack for 1, 2, 3, 4. This player here would remove 4 of the health, and that would go off to the side, and this player's turn would be done. Now, the other card that's in this game is this one right here. This here is a base. Now, if a base is put into play, you'll notice it has the same makeup, but it's horizontal, except it's got this icon here and a shield. Now, this shield here that says 2, it means it's going to take 2 damage before this base is destroyed. And destroying a base or having a base out is just kind of like a shield. It protects your health. So a player cannot actually attack this health until it's destroyed this base. But it's okay that if, say, I only had 1 damage, so maybe this second player only had this here Viper, and maybe this player has this here and it needs 2 defense. So what it'll do is it'll attack for the 1, place it on there, and that's going to carry over into the future, similar to how coins carry over. And so this player later in the future could attack again. Anything that goes beyond that, so say that player had instead done the amount of damage we talked about earlier, but this player here had this base out. If it was attacking for 4, this is a defensive 2, you would put the 2 tokens, so that's 1, 2, and then we'd have 3 and 4 health. So that is how you would destroy both this base and also attack this player. You're going to keep playing this game out until someone has hit 0 health on their player board, and whoever has health left is going to be our winner. And that's how you play Star Realms Academy. I really appreciate you joining me for this video, and I hope you check out all our Wise Wizard as well as Wacky Wizard games here at Wise Wizard Games. Alright, so a lot of you are probably asking yourself, what's the difference between Star Realms and Star Realms Academy? And the difference is no reading, very limited math, and there's only 4 symbols in the game, so you can no longer scrap, but you still can draw cards, do combat, regain health, as well as purchase things by collecting coins. Now, the cool thing is both coins as well as the combat are going to carry over. So you no longer need, for attacking a base such as Blob World, to have all 3 combat in your hand at one time. You could instead just have 1 Viper hitting it, and you're going to have this on there so you can ship away in the future. You can also save your coins, which is pretty cool. The bank can hold up to 8. Now, you're attacking 15 health tokens, so it's going to be a faster game than you are probably used to. When you attack a health, you're going to remove it. You still have to attack a base though before you can attack the player if they do have a base out. You will also have a starting deck of only 6 cards, and those 6 cards are going to include 1 Viper and 5 Scouts. And your starting hand size is only going to be 3, so it's going to be a lot smaller than you're used to. But I still really kind of enjoy it. I think it's very adorable because this artwork has been reimagined, very cartoony, very kid family friendly, and that is most of the differences between the 2 games. I hope you check it out and all the rest of our wacky games as well as our Wise Wizard games.